everyone for joining me today. My name is Michael Smith. I'm the National Consumer Education Manager of Janome Canada, and it is wonderful as always to be with you here again from my palatial estate to present another Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour. And what will the machine be? Well, all secrets will be revealed soon. Now, perhaps you could tell a little bit by our clue on our Janome HQ Instagram page, but as usual, oh yes, I got lots to share with you all today. So here for Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour, ooh, the suspense of it all. I just have to reposition my chair. Now, what is our fabulous machine today on Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour? Ta-da! Wait a minute, that's not a machine. No, what I wanted to do, I've got several requests to show yet again this very fabulous tool embellishment holder from our friends at Tudo, and they have this fabulous little organizer. I've shown this previously on Magical Machine Mystery Tours, and people say, oh my gosh, I love that little bag. We can put all of our little parts and notions in it, all of our sewing tools in it, all your screwdrivers, your scissors, everything, pen and pencils, everything. And it holds up like an easel there, like on an A-frame, so it will sit at your table. So everything can be at your fingertips. So how perfect is that? So here in Canada, that we have these in our warehouse right now. So contact your Janome Canada dealer. Again, our friends at Tudo have this fabulous tool embellishment holder. So all these little parts and pieces that I'm going to show you today will fit in this tool embellishment holder. So how great to be organized. Everything that for your machine and the additional accessories and attachments that you can get for your machines will fit here. So everything stays, again, within your fingertips. So that out of the way then. So our fabulous machine today is the Sewist 709. Now, I have shown other Sewists previously on Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour, and you can go back, as always, on the Janome HQ YouTube channel, or check back IGTV on the Janome HQ Instagram page for those presentations. But this Sewist 709 is the first in the Sewist series. We have also Sewist 721. A previous presentation I did was Sewist 725, and that refers to the number of stitches on the machine. And then there's also a 740 and a 780 as well. Go back to Janome HQ YouTube channel to see those presentations. Those Sewist 740 and 780, they get into the computerized components. This Sewist 709 is the perfect one of the kind of entry-level machines, mechanical machines with these knobs here. 709, you might expect that there are 9 stitches available here. Now, again, that may say, oh, very basic, but depending on what kind of a sewist you are, this may be more than fine. Again, you just want to do some basic sewing, some hemming, some mending. You know, you pop a button or your hem comes down, you want to repair it. You break a zipper and you want to repair it. Then this will certainly accommodate. But, you know, there are some fun, decorative things you can do with this machine as well. So I'll show you a little bit of that. As usual, time always goes by so fast. But this is perfect, especially if you're just getting into sewing, or you need a little bit more robust of a machine. The Sewist 709 can accommodate. But very user-friendly, again, mechanical machine, so no electronics to worry about. We can just turn the dial here corresponding to the stitches across the front. So our regular straight stitch, for example, is an A. We just turn our stitch selector dial here to an A. And then this one is stitch length. So right now I've got it at 2. But then 3, 4 would be a very long stitch, like a basting stitch. When we go into our 4-step buttonhole here, and again, your full instructions walk you right through it, you simply just turn dial 1, and then over here, there's our little buttonhole icon. Turn it over to there. Naturally, 0 would be a much tighter stitch. If I have my stitch dial a little bit over more towards the 1, then that's going to give me a sort of wider buttonhole stitch. And again, it walks you right through number 1, number 2, number 3, and back to number 4. So how simple is that? So very easy to operate. We do have the little handle here. The machine is, the machine is quite lightweight. Most of the machines in kind of the entry-level category are about 12 pounds, so not very heavy at all. So if you're looking for a machine for maybe a secondary machine, a classroom machine, you're going up to the cottage or so. I'm just going to wind this around a little bit better. Then, yes, you can perhaps pick up this 709. Again, is nice and lightweight. Let's tour the machine a little bit here. Ooh, and we'll go around to the side here. We've got the presser foot pressure dial, so we can adjust the pressure on the pressure foot. So if we've got, thicker layers or some really, delicate fabric or so, we can lighten or increase the pressure as needed through there. Our little side cutter. Oh, Cindy, it's great to see you. Hello. I think that side cutter comes on almost every Janome machine, so isn't that always good? Now, the machine also has a free arm. So right now I've got the little accessory drawer extension table in, but then we can easily remove this. It's got a little accessory compartment in here, so all your little goodies that come included with the machine can fit in here. And then this way, if you've got any kind of hemming, for some pants and hemming in the round or attaching a cuff on a sleeve, then we've got the free arm. And at the back of the machine, there is a little lever that we can drop the feed dog. So if we want to do some free motion quilting, or when I sew on a button, for example, we definitely want to drop the feed dog so the machine isn't actually going to stitch forward and go anywhere. So that is great. We've got the reverse button, of course, right here as well. Now, full instructions, of course, are included in the manual, but more information if you go on to our other janome.com or janome.ca site. Oh, Celine is here. Hello. Thank you for joining me. Go on to the janome.ca or janome.com website for more information. You type in Sewist 709. Here is the features and benefits page. So then you can find out a little bit more about the machine here. It is a 5mm wide, so that refers to this ZigZag needle plate here on your machine, that the width of the stitch is 5mm. So we typically have the machines are 5mm, 7mm, or 9mm. So when in doubt, again, always go on our websites, but also you can consult your fabulous Janome dealer. And your instruction book, as always. So again, double check all your information that walk you through that how to adjust all your machine, when you will use the various presser feet included, for example. Now, speaking of presser feet, of course, we've got our great resource on Janome HQ YouTube, the A to Z with Janome series, where I demoed most of the Janome presser feet. Now, here is your little dust cover included, little vinyl dust cover included. I often say, if you'd like maybe a fabric one, you'd like to fancy this up a little bit, you can use this as your template. Either cut it apart or just take the measurements from it and make yourself a new sewing machine cover if you wish. But again, one is included. Most of our machines do have one kind of cover or another. So this one is soft vinyl. Again, you could easily cut it up or just take the measurements and make yourself another sewing machine cover if you wish. So that comes included with the machine. Now, I wanted to show you as well, this is your presser foot that comes with the machine. And it's the same kind of connection as our presser foot for the sergers and the presser foot for the cover hem machines, where the plug is incorporated into the machine. The plug and the presser foot plug are included together as one, whereas most of our other machines, the presser foot is in a separate connection, and then the actual power to the machine is a separate connection. But in this machine, they're incorporated slightly different. Again, the same as in our sergers and our Cover Pro. So why I like to point this out is if your table is like mine and you've got cords galore under the table, you can save yourself some trouble. And if you have a Janome serger, for example, or a Janome Cover Pro, you only need the same foot pedal that will now work your Sewist 709, and then just put one foot pedal under your table, and it'll plug into your Sewist 709, and it'll plug into your serger or your Cover Pro machine. So isn't that cool? Now, I also love showing, I always get requests, oh, can you show us that presser foot cover, again, the presser foot pad, because then look, it's on an angle and it's not moving. This is the anti-slip. It's so comfortable. Non-slip foot pedal pad. Oh, it's quite a lot to say. At first I was thinking, what is this called? Yes, the non-slip foot pedal pad. It's a mouthful, but yes, look, it is so good. Again, there I am holding it at an angle and it's not moving at all. It's this grippy, rubbery surface that just locks your presser foot into place, regardless of what size it is. And it's also got the same non-slip, grippy surface on the bottom. So regardless of what your flooring is, your foot pedal is staying into place. So that's fabulous. So the presser foot is included, or the power foot is included with your machine, but this non-slip foot pedal pad is available separately from your Janome dealer. So that's fabulous. That holds everything into place. Now let's get into, oh yes, all the really fun things that come with the machine. And of course we've got extra bobbins. Always Janome J bobbins. Now speaking of which, when we want to stay organized, we do have our Janome Bobbin Saver here you can get from your Janome dealer. So a great way to keep all your bobbins organized. So that's beautiful. And then we've got, extra needles. Now, you can always get your separate extra needles in separate blister packs from your Janome dealer. The A to Z with Janome series that's on Janome HQ YouTube, the J episode, I talked all about Janome bobbins and Janome needles. So those are available from your Janome dealer. Oh, we've got the spool caps, a little one for your smaller spools, or the bigger one is on the machine right now. Our usual tools, seam ripper, screwdriver, things like that. Now the actual feet itself, I demoed all of these feet on the A to Z with Janome series. But this is the B foot, is the buttonhole foot. So this is the foot you will use. Some of our machines come with an automatic buttonhole foot, which is R. But this foot, this B buttonhole foot, is for a buttonhole you want to make of any size. Because those automatic buttonhole feet, they will only do usually up to 1 inch, or we do have an extra large one that'll do up to about 2 inches. This B buttonhole foot can do any size buttonhole. There are 2 little grooves. It's a very cool foot. It's kind of like our F foot, the satin stitch foot. There's grooves, and there's a little median right in the middle here, a little channel. So as you do your buttonhole, and here on the Sewist 709, it's a 4-step buttonhole, you'll go down one side, and this little channel is for that satin stitch, and then you'll go across, and then down the other side, and here's another channel for your other side of your buttonhole. And then you'll do the satin stitch across the other side. This little notch here at the back is when you want to do a corded buttonhole. And on the other Sewist presentations that I've done on Janome HQ is when I talked about and demoed this foot and did the corded buttonholes. There we go. Like that. So then that's where you will put your little cording around here, and as you do your buttonhole, you'll stitch right over that cording. So that's very cool. So this B buttonhole foot is included. We've got the E zipper foot, and again, the A to Z with Janome series, the E episode was all about the zipper foot. Then this is a sliding buttonhole foot. Again, that's kind of automatic. So this will do for, again, about up to 1 inch. And for any larger buttonholes, then you'll use this foot. And same thing, this little notch at the back here, if you want to do corded buttonholes. And then, yes, your machine goes over that on how to do them. And see, that all lines up perfectly. So I demoed this on previous Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour, so you can go back to review that. So isn't that cool? So that comes included, and then, oh yes, the foot that I'm actually going to demo is this G foot, is an adjustable blind hem foot. Now, previously in the A to Z with Janome series, I did demo the G foot that looks like this. Is one of my favorite feet that has that little rudder down the middle of it. So this G foot comes with a lot of this is for 9mm machines. It comes with a lot of those machines, but as well there is a 7mm version for those machines as well with that little rudder down the middle. Some of our other machines, a lot of the 5mm come with this adjustable blind hem foot. So it's very cool to be able to quickly and easily switch this out. Oh, one thing before I get stitching, one thing I do want to point out. Here on the top of your machine there, this little port is for your extra spool pin that comes with the machine, is this here. It's a square. So this will go up at the top. So this is great for when you want to, again, wind your bobbin and you don't want to take off your spool here. So this extra spool pin will help you wind the bobbin. If you want to use a twin needle, you'll need 2 spools of thread. So that's when you'll use this. But also, and this cute little piece of felt goes over it. But also, I love using this secondary spool pin for when I always have a little bit of extra bobbin thread, it seems, a lot of the time. So this way I wind, or when I want to get rid of the bobbin thread, then I use my bobbin here for my needle thread, and I put it on this secondary spool pin and thread the machine, you know, as normal. So then that way I can use up every little bit of thread with my bobbin thread here. So I can just put the bobbin there. So that's a great way to use all of your thread. And then here, as I'm going to snap off this foot as always, and this G adjustable blind hem, there's this little wheel here that will move this guide, that white guide over. So when we do our blind hem, and again, full instructions in the manual, but when we do our blind hem, we want to make the fold of the fabric go up against, ooh, there we go. We want that fold of the fabric up against that little guide. This is ultimately what we're hoping to achieve. This is our blind hem. So if I used matching thread, you really would not see that at all. Now your goal is to try to get those little stitches there as little as possible. So again, these stitches here, if they were in white, we wouldn't see them. They would be totally fine. But you know, sometimes your blind hem done in a contrasting thread, that can be a decorative element too. So I think that looks kind of cool. Now when you're doing your blind hem, again, you're trying not to catch the fold of the fabric. So in here, that think, wow, that looks perfect. There's no blind hem. Well, actually, I didn't catch that fold of the fabric there. Now, in this case, I wouldn't really worry about it. If you want, you could thread up a hand sewing needle and just kind of attach that very easily. Sometimes I put a little bit of fusible web in between there and press it to hold it down. Or in this case, and it's like, oh, that's really not that big. So I would just probably leave it and not worry about it. So it's very forgiving. But here on the back side, then this is what your blind hem looks like. Now, when you stitch your blind hem, it's going to be like this. So this is the fold I was referring to that goes up against your guide. That's where you want to pierce the needle, you know, very gently in that fold. You don't want to pierce too much into that fold, because then the more you do, then that's what you're going to see more on the right side. So as I have my hem here, the right side of my fabric is down at the table, fold back the hem as usual, and then I'm just going to pinch it to make a fold here. So when we put this in the machine, we want that adjustable guide to go up against this fold. And again, we've got lots of maneuverability, so it's a really cool foot. So on our machine here, then we have, oh yes, regular straight stitch, of course. We've got zigzag stitch. This D is the tricot stitch, or the multi-step zigzag. So this is great to use for, when you're sewing knits, for example, then that's great because it still gives you some stretch. Now, E and F are your blind hem stitches. And again, all of your Janome machines probably have these stitches regardless of what machine you have. So that's the fun thing. If you start off with a machine like this Sewist 709 and you later upgrade up the line, you're already familiar with these stitches because they appear on almost every Janome machine. This E blind hem is for when you've got really delicate fabric and it ravels a lot. There's extra little zigzag stitches in there that will help control that raveling. So that's when I would use E. F would be for most of your regular, standard, medium, or heavyweight fabric. The cool thing with this blind hem is, great for curtains, great for trousers, any kind of hemming you want to do. But when you have a very lofty fabric, like a polar fleece, for example, those blind hem stitches just disappear into the fabric. So then you'll never see them from the right side. So this is where it gets a little tricky. I'm sewing off to the side. But as I adjust, I'm going to move my dial. I'm going to move it to an F. So I just adjusted my dial. Now we want to make sure this dial is clicked right over to that little notch. We don't want to do anything kind of like in between. So it's there in my F, and then I'll just put it back to a 2 to experiment. And then again, this is where we can line up our guide. Now I always like to start off a little slow, and then if I find, oh no, I'm hitting that, my needle is going too much into the fold, then this is where I can move over that guide a little bit. So then you decide which way, and then if it's like, oh no, that's not enough, maybe you need to move it back. So again, you experiment. I'm going to move mine way closer. But again, this is just to show, and again, I'm sewing off to the side. So then this is just to show you the different results. So it's that simple. So whatever it is. So when I show this, I don't really see many of my stitches there, so I know I'm really into my fold. So then when I fold this out, then you'll see, there. You'll see my stitches, but again, even with this contrasting thread, if this were a matching thread, I really wouldn't see that at all. So I would give that a quick little press, and away we go. So you can adjust I had this at a 2, so that's quite like a longer stitch in between. So again, you can really adjust it and make it look however you wish. So there are some differences. So that's your blind hem very quickly in a nutshell. Then we could also do, I wanted to demo, because again, a lot of these are utility stitches, but I want to demo this H, for example, is a great stitch to use when you want to do something a little bit more decorative. Again, here's H, and I'm going to do a nice wide stitch. And I'm going to I'll use just my regular A foot. When you want to do something a little bit more decorative, then this actually, I got this tip from our fabulous Celine, who's been doing Facebook Lives on the Janome America, Janome Sewing Machines Facebook page. Celine has been doing Facebook Lives, and she did a presentation on faggoting. And what that is joining basically two pieces of fabric with like a decorative stitch in between. It's a very old school technique, and Celine showed us all, you take some of your fabulous Madeira stabilizer that is sticky on the back. It's paper backed, but it's sticky when you peel this. And of course, she got that stabilizer, as I do, from the Madeira Stabilizer Starter Pack. This little booklet comes with it, 12 different stabilizers to tell you how to use all of these stabilizers, when to use all these stabilizers. And Celine's tip was to use that sticky stabilizer, So I have my fabric then held into place. And now I'm going to use that H stitch to then join these fabrics. So it's very cool. So we have to make sure that the kind of zigzag is wide enough to cover. So I left a little gap in between, and then the zigzag ultimately of the H stitch is wide enough to then boom. So there we go. There is our stitch, the H stitch, but now it's joining our fabric. So ultimately then this stabilizer that I've used is a water soluble stabilizer. So I would now dissolve this in water, and then this is going to be like a little daylight in between those two pieces of fabric. So it's a very cool technique. So even with your more basic Sewist 709, you can still do some very decorative stitches that are just built into the machine. It's just that H stitch built into the machine. And of course, everything looks fabulous using your Janome 100-year anniversary fabric. So double check with your Janome dealer if they still have any left, because you know the year has been going by so fast. But that's fabulous fabric to demo. Now, another fun thing I've been working on is, this little book cover. You know, many of us have these little books here that you can write in your little sewing journal, for example. So this I just quickly made with a bunch of scraps, all pieced together. But I've been using the stitches here of my machine. That's the blind hem stitch. But then as I adjust the length of that stitch, they look very different. It's the same stitch. In this case, it's the E blind hem, but then again, that looks very different. Or this is the F one. This is the F blind hem. But they look very different because I've simply just adjusted the length. Or here, there is some buttonholes. So I've just adjusted the width of the buttonhole and the length, of course, but here is your regular buttonhole there with the very tight satin stitch. But then these buttonholes here, I made slightly wider, looser, so these would be great. That's more of like a zigzag stitch. That would be great for a knit, for example, because it's got that built-in stretch. So that is great to use for, again, knit fabric. And then here I'm sewing on some buttons using that B foot to sew on the buttons. And then what I like to do is just use a little cellophane tape here to hold the button in place. So when I do that zigzag stitching across to hold the button in place, the tape holds it in position. So that's very good. But again, there's that H stitch I was just demoing with the faggoting. So here it is like as a decorative stitch. So how cool does that look? And it's just simply by, there's a longer stitch, there's a shorter stitch, it's the same stitch. You just adjust the length. There's that tricot stitch, again, great for knitwear, is that multi-step zigzag. So there's so much you can do. And yes, with the zigzag stitch, you can do some applique down here. So there's a lot of fun things you can do, very simply, very basic. So just have some fun making the adjustments on your machine. Again, more of that H stitch there. So this little book cover I will finish, and then you will see it on upcoming Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour. But, again, this is a great way to learn how to adjust your machine. Something very simple and easy to do. Now, when I mentioned about, some of the fun things then that are available as optional accessories, that again, you may think, my machine is basic. There's more I want to do with it. So this is when you go to your fabulous Janome dealer and you say, Celine, for example, on the Janome Sewing Machines Facebook page yesterday, did a presentation on the fabulous circular attachment. So yes, there is a circular attachment for your Sewist 709. Simply take off the bobbin cover and attach it in, boom, and it just sits in here. So yes, you can use your circular attachment. It has this adjustable foot here. And again, Celine demoed this on the Janome Sewing Machines Facebook page, and I did this demo as part of the A to Z with Janome series. It's the C episode, C for circular attachment. You take off your little top hat and you basically spear your fabric I'm not going to demo it now because, again, we've demoed it before. You can go back to review those. But basically, you spear your fabric on that little spike, and then you select whatever stitch you want in your machine, and this is how you will stitch in a circle. It's very, very cool. So yes, this is available for your Sewist 709 machine. Also available, again, simply click that out. Also available for your machine is, a foot, one of my favorites, the sliding guide foot, for example, that we have them for 7mm machines and 9mm machines. This one will go up to 7mm, so it's the one that will fit in your Sewist 709 5mm. But it is the SG foot. So you snap that into place, and then it has this adjustable guide here. So if you're sewing, a 5/8 of an inch seam, there are some markings here on your bobbin cover. But with this sliding guide foot, I have like this rudder in the middle here, this guide. So I can move it to 5/8 of an inch, and then you lock the guide into place. And then now this way, if I'm going to do this seam, if I'm a garment sewer and I want to be sewing a regular seam from most commercial patterns are 5/8 of an inch. So then, I line that up there. Let me quickly adjust this. I just go to a regular straight stitch. So simple, so quick to adjust. So how about that? You've got this beautiful guide that's easier to follow than perhaps the marks on your bobbin cover. So, isn't that great? So simple there. Or then, I want to adjust. I'm now going to do some hemming, and I want a nice deep hem. So again, slide your guide that far, and then if you're doing your hem, again, so you've got lots of flexibility. So there's a lot of additional accessories and different presser feet that you can get from your Janome dealer that, again, will fit any kind of machine. But again, if you think, this machine's a little basic, but there's so much more available down the road that you could get to really help you get the most from that machine. If you're getting into quilting, for example, we've got, the convertible Evenfeed foot set that I've also demoed in previous Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour episodes. So this convertible Evenfeed foot set for your low shank machine. It also comes for high shank machine. The 709 is a low shank machine. And how you determine that is you drop your presser foot down so it's against the bed of the machine, and then you measure up to this little screw that holds your foot holder. If it's approximately about 1/2 of an inch, it's a low shank machine. If you measure then up to this little screw and it's about 1 inch or 1.25 inches, then it's high shank. So in this case, the Sewist 709 is a low shank, so this convertible Evenfeed foot set is for low shank machines. So again, this is great as your Evenfeed foot to feed all your layers together. So for quilting through all layers, or if you're again matching plaids or velvet that have the nap that's working against each other, this Evenfeed will give you like those upper feed dogs basically. And this convertible set I love because it has these multiple guides. So again, you could do a guide here for your quilting, move it around, or you've got the center guide, so it becomes like a ditch quilting foot as well. So then you've got that guide down. So if you wanted to quilt through all layers in the ditch, then that guide will follow. So again, I've demoed these on previous Magical Machine Mystery Tour episodes as well. So again, there's lots more available to machines like the Sewist 709. It's a fabulous machine to get started with, or again as a backup machine, a travel machine, or maybe again you're the kind of sewist that you don't really want to get into doing big projects, but you want a machine that is good and reliable to do again a buttonhole or to do some repairs. Then the machine is great. It's not that complicated, very easy to use, and it comes with the basics that you need to get started started. And then if you want to go from there, there's a lot available to help you get the most from your machine. Something like this cloth guide, I almost forgot, conveniently held on our fabulous Janome pin pal here, which I absolutely love because, oh yes, it's magnetic. So I hold my mini duckling scissors, but this cloth guide, oh yes, I wanted to point out, this cloth guide is great because it has 2 little screws included. The small one is for those that will screw into the needle plate. But machines like the 709 have a hole here in the bed of the machine. But you can still use this metal cloth guide. So we have so many options. So you can use the sliding guide foot for adjustments. But if you want more, see this cloth guide, you can adjust further out than the sliding guide foot. So they each have a purpose. And this cloth guide, again, we can adjust here very close up. So we can adjust it again following the, maybe 3/8 inch or even the 1/4 of an inch line on our needle plate. So if we're quilting and we want to do piecing, then we can move this to 1/4 of an inch. Or again, as a garment sewer, move it to 5/8 of an inch. Or move it all the way out here, which would probably be about 1.5 inches further from your needle. So then to do a nice deep hem, and then you just screw it down in here. So again, lots of accessories available for your 709. Always double check with your Janome dealer. So there, in a whirlwind nutshell, oh yes, I'll flip this around and then say, yes, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. Oh, the time just always goes by so fast. I would love to be able to just sew with you all day today. So, because that's not possible, then we will just have to meet back next weekend again for another Janome's Magical Machine Mystery Tour. And what will I be demoing? Oh, I don't know. It's a mystery. That's why we always must tune in. Now, if you can't make the live presentations, again, you can always jump onto the IGTV icon that's on the Janome HQ Instagram page. You can review presentations there, or I then load these up as videos on the Janome HQ YouTube channel, so you can always go and review there too. If you don't happen to have Instagram or can't always access Instagram, check out the YouTube. Again, they're going to be tall and skinny on the YouTube channel because Instagram doesn't let me rotate the camera, but at least, they're there on the Janome HQ YouTube channel, so we can always share the Janome love. So, thank you so much, Cheryl. It is great to see you. It's always wonderful. Thank you. I love sharing the Janome love with everyone. So I hope to see you all next week. So have a fabulous time sewing. Bye for now. Thank you. Bye-bye.